أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
A number of times I've been asked about the thresholds in PLS-SEM. In this particular session, we are going to focus on the different thresholds in PLS-SEM and identify some references that we can use in our studies. Now, the following table summarizes commonly reported thresholds in partial least squares structural equation modeling for measurement and structural model assessment. Now, when we are running our measurement model, the first thing that we are looking into is the indicator reliability or outer loadings. Now, the normal threshold is that the outer loadings should be over 0.70, greater than or equal to 0.70, which is referred to as acceptable. However, they can be less than 0.70. Now, what happens is if they are in between 0.40 to 0.70, the items can be retained if your AVE, that is average variance extracted, and CR, that is composite reliability, is adequate. However, if your AVE or composite reliability is not adequate or acceptable, then you can go on and delete those items that are or whose loadings fall between 0.40 and 0.70. Now, the reference is here at all 2019 and 2021. So here it is. Here at all, a primer on partial least squares structural equation modeling, second edition, and 2021 partial least squares structural equation modeling using R workbook. Moving on, internal consistency reliability, that is Cronbach Alpha. Now, normally it should be over 0.70 or greater than or equal to 0.70 for exploratory research. It can be greater than or equal to 0.60. Now, normally it is obviously the higher the better, but less than 0.95. Again, the reference is here at all 2019. Composite reliability, which is a more liberal measure of reliability. Again, it follows the same rules as for the Cronbach Alpha. Normally, it is recommended to be over 0.70. Average variance extracted. Now, as part of your measurement model assessment, you will also analyze and assess the convergent validity. Now, the statistic that we use for convergent validity assessment is average variance extracted, and this should be over or greater than or equal to 0.50. For discriminant validity, there are several methods. The traditional method, the one that is most commonly used, is Fornell and Larcker criterion. And for that, the square root of AVE for each construct should be greater than its correlation with all the other constructs in the study. For HTMT, a more stricter conservative measure is 0.85, that is the ratio of correlation HTMT value should be less than 0.85. A more liberal measure is 0.90, and the reference is Hensler 2015. Collinearity, less than 5 is ideal, is 3.3, but acceptable is less than 5. Now for path coefficients, again, the p-value that we normally do is p-value less than 0.05 would mean that your paths are significant and your hypothesis is accepted. Now in social sciences, it is less than 0.05. Now, in some studies or in different other fields, it can be 0.01 as well. And we do bootstrapping procedure to find or to present our path coefficients or significance of path coefficients. Now again, R square, that is coefficient of determination, that how much variance in an outcome variable is being explained by the predictors. Now again, here at all 2011, 0.25 is weak, 0.50 is moderate, and greater than 0.75 is substantial. Effect size F square, again this is the criteria. 0.02 small, 0.15 medium, and 0.35 is large. Predictive relevance Q square. If it's greater than 0, this means that the predictors are relevant in predicting the outcomes. Again, for model fit, we normally use SRMR and NFI. For SRMR, it should be less than 0.08, and for NFI, it should be greater than 0.90. So these are the different thresholds that we can use in our study, and these are the references. Now the full reference list, here it is. I will try to upload it on my website, plus I'll put the references in the description as well. Let me put them here so that if somebody wants to take a screenshot, they can. So here are all the references. Thank you very much.